name's Mark Long, L-O-N-G, and I'm again here on behalf of the Montana Narcotics Officers Association, which is an organization in Montana, about 150 members, law enforcement, state, local, and federal, who are involved primarily in drug investigations. Law enforcement, and particularly drug investigation officers, are faced daily and hourly with some of the impacts and consequences of this current Montana Medical Marijuana Act that we're operating under right now. The current law is rife with vagueness, gray areas, contradictory language, and it just creates a huge problem for anybody that tries to figure out how to deal with this particular law. The current law has allowed for a tremendous increase in the amount of marijuana available in Montana. That shouldn't come as a surprise. There are over 4,000 licensed grows, some of them growing in upwards of 1,000 plants in their grows. There's also in upwards of 27,000 cardholders who can also grow marijuana. So we have no idea really across the state how much marijuana is actually being produced here. We do know that there's enough of it being produced that it seems to have saturated the Montana market, and a lot of this marijuana is going out of state to other markets where it's not necessarily legal. It's a multi-million-dollar business that deals with marijuana, and it's totally, at this point, totally unregulated. That causes all kinds of law enforcement issues and issues to everybody else probably in this room. We're just looking for some relief on that and some ability to regulate. We can't check for compliance on zoning issues, building issues, electrical, fire hazards, any of those things, nor can we enforce the law because we're not allowed access to some of these grows. There's a whole bunch of issues like that that affect law enforcement. There's a tremendous increase in criminal activity in the state, a lot of it around these grows. I will say right off the bat that I've met a lot of people in the medical marijuana industry who are good people. They're just as frustrated as we are. They're trying very hard to get a handle on this. I know some of them are in the room. I don't include them, and I try not to paint them with the same brush when I'm talking about the criminals that are also involved in this business. We know for a fact that we are importing the criminal element into Montana because this is sort of an open market for them. So we know for a fact that is happening. But again, I mean, there are great people in this business that are trying hard to make it work, and I'm not talking about those people. In short, this current situation is a public health and safety disaster. It's a law enforcement nightmare. And, you know, my apologies to the drafter of the bill, but this thing has created a fiasco in this state that is also an embarrassment, I think, to Montana on the national level. The Montana Narcotics Officers Association was involved with Representative Sands and her interim committee. We had a lot of input into this, as did all the other stakeholders. We think this bill has done a pretty good job of closing a lot of these loopholes and creating some parameters that will make this somewhat more manageable. We realize that House Bill 68 is not a perfect bill by any means, but it goes a long ways towards helping take care of the mess that we're currently in Montana. So it's the position of MNOA to support any and all of the legislation that might come through the session to help put some manageable parameters on this current situation, and that's why we're supporting House Bill 68. I think the worst thing we can do in this session is not pass anything that helps us with this, and then we'll end up with a couple years of status quo. So thank you for your time.